I will be discussing the resurrection rapture. I'm going to show you proof positive that the pre-trib rapture is wrong. They're not telling you things that will disprove them. Of course, they don't want to tell you what's going to disprove their view, but I will do it for them. So in Revelation chapter 20, verses 4 through 6, we're going to deal with the scriptures that prove that a pre-trib rapture is impossible. It will not happen at all. So in Revelation chapter 20, starting at verse 4. All right, Revelation 20, verses 1 through 3, deals with the first day of the millennial reign of Jesus on the earth. Revelation 20, verses 1 through 3, deals with Satan being bound. This mighty angel comes down from heaven. He binds Satan with a chain. He puts him in the bottomless pit, right? That happens on day one of the millennial reign of Jesus on the earth. So Revelation chapter 20 is dealing with what's going to happen on day one of the millennial reign of Jesus on the earth. So when you get to verse 4 through 6 is what I want to read to you and prove to you that the resurrection rapture of any kind, a resurrection of any kind, a rapture of any kind, cannot happen at the beginning of the 7 years, as the pre-trib view is telling you the resurrection will happen at the beginning of the 7 years. We're going to meet the Lord in the air in the clouds and all that. That will not happen at the beginning of the 7 years, where the bodies are changed from mortal to immortal. That will not happen at the beginning of the 7 years. And that's the rapture that they say is going to take place at the beginning of the 7 years. They say there's a rapture and then there's a resurrection rapture. I'm going to show you this. They say in that rapture that they believe happens at the beginning of the 7 years, that there's going to be a resurrection. That people are going to be changed from mortal to immortal, from corrupt to incorrupt, right? We meet the Lord there. And I'm going to show you that the first resurrection cannot happen at the beginning of the 7 years, nor can it happen without the great tribulation believers. Now, like I said, chapter 20, verses 1 through 3 is the beginning, day one of the millennial reign of Christ on earth. So verse 4 of Revelation 20 says, and I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them. You know, the 24 elders are going to sit on thrones and help Jesus rule when he comes to earth. He told the 12 disciples, you will sit on thrones and help me rule. So we see that when John sees these thrones and those sitting on them, it is the time of the beginning of the millennial reign of Christ on the earth. So verse 4 again, and I saw thrones and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus and for the word of God. That means they were killed for the witness of Jesus and the word of God. He saw their souls, not their glorified, resurrected bodies. He says, and which had not worshipped the beast. He saw the souls of those who had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark. Who are those people? Those were the ones that was killed by the Antichrist during his reign. He saw their souls, right, and received this mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Christ for 1,000 years. So the souls lived. Now we know the souls didn't die. Souls are eternal, they don't die. Now, if the souls lived, what happened? They came forth out of the grave. The Bible says there's coming a day when all who are in the grave will hear the Lord's voice and come forth to the what? Judgment. Come forth to the judgment. So if the souls live, that is the resurrection. He even says it in verse 5. But the rest of the dead live not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. This is the first resurrection. Let me read verse 6. Blessed or blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death hath no power, but they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. So he clearly says that these people who had gotten the victory over the beast and over his image and over his mark will reign with Jesus for 1,000 years. Some believe that, but I'm going to get to that. But anyway, all those that died during the Antichrist reign will be resurrected on day one of the beginning of the millennial reign of Christ on the earth to reign with him for 1,000 years. So the resurrection rapture cannot take place at least to the end of the 7 years. You say, why is that? Because the great tribulation believers who are killed by the Antichrist must be in the first resurrection. So if I tell you I'm in a race and I came in first place, you don't think I came in second or third, fourth or fifth. There are people that say, well, yeah, it's going to be a rapture of the saints and then a rapture later on of other believers. I don't care if there's 1,000 resurrections. In the first one, where the bodies are changed from mortal to immortal, where the dead is raised, right, from the grave, that resurrection, the first one, right, Jesus was the first fruit, then those that are his at his coming, at his what? Coming. So obviously Jesus has come to the earth, Revelation 20:4-6, or the resurrection could take place because the resurrection has to take place at his what? Coming. This is his third coming. This is at the end of the wrath of God. This is not at the end of the 7 years, Revelation 7:9-14, and Revelation 14:14-16. Matter of fact, when you look at the rapture in Revelation 14:14-16, which happens at the end of the 7 years, just like the rapture of Revelation chapter 7, verses 9-14, a sickle is used to gather that harvest, not a trumpet, not a trumpet. The gathering or the rapture out of the earth at the end of the 7 years, at the second coming of Christ, is not the resurrection rapture. The resurrection rapture will take place with the sounding of a trumpet. The two that I just mentioned will be a gathering of the souls. A sickle is used to gather that harvest. Go read it. Revelation 14:14-16. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you at the end of this my videos on the book of Revelation. I turned that back up since I laid my last video. I'm going to give you my teaching on the book of Revelation so you can go and watch it, and I will show you the complete layout of the book of Revelation. And I will show you that the trumpets and the bowls happen after the 7-year period is over, not during the 7 years. You've been lied to, whether they meant to do it intentionally or not. You have not been told the complete truth about the layout of the book of Revelation. So just give me just a moment here, and I'm going to finish. I'm going to give you the title of my video so you can go and watch my teaching on the book of Revelation. Then start asking questions. Write down the scriptures that I'm giving you, right? And what I said about those scriptures. And start asking questions. Why do we not teach this? Why does the Bible have a rapture, 2 raptures in the Bible? Revelation 7:9-14, Revelation 14:14-16. And if you're pre-trib, I know you have never been told that those 2 places are raptures. Mid-trib, you've never been told those 2 places are raptures. Post-trib, you have been told, but they believe it's right at the end of the last day of the Antichrist reign. And then about 30 days after that, Jesus comes to establish his kingdom on earth. That's not true. I show you in my videos, right? So let me get on, just not belabor this. So you see, let me cut my sound off. I thought people just sending me stuff. So you see that the resurrection must include who? The great tribulation believers in the what? First resurrection. So how are the pre-trib getting a resurrection rapture of any kind at the beginning of the 7 years that doesn't include the great tribulation believers? Oh, that's a different resurrection, but it's the first. Now you want me to believe first means something else other than first? And it says it twice. This is the first resurrection, right? And notice, once again, that resurrection takes place on day 1 of the millennial reign of Christ on the earth. Therefore, the resurrection rapture cannot happen at the beginning of the 7 years, the middle of the 7 years, or even the end of the 7 years, because the wrath of God and the wrath of the Lamb Both happen after the 7-year period is over for a minimum of 3 years and 11 months. Now, to my videos on YouTube, so you can watch this and you can establish whether I'm telling you a lie or I'm telling you the truth. On YouTube, look up this PT1, the letter P, the letter T, and the number 1, not ONE, the number 1, PT1, the pre-rapture, and the third coming of Jesus. And it goes all the way through PT2, PT3, 4, 5. I have 5 videos under that title, PT5, the pre-rapture, the third coming of Jesus. I put them all on there at the same time, but for some reason, YouTube split them up. And if you don't know, there's 4 more after watching the first one. You're like, well, the video cut off and it didn't finish. I did finish. There are 5 videos on YouTube under that title. If you like what I taught, please respond by making a comment, right? And I will respond to your comment, right? Or when you go and watch the book of Revelation, if there's something you saw, you got a question about, whatever, please make a comment. You know, it will send it to me, and I will respond to your question. I try to check my YouTube responses every day. I know one day it's going to be probably in the hundreds of thousands of millions. I'm just going to have to make one to conglomerate all the questions that's going to be asked because this coming September the 19th, 2023, the UN Council will be meeting to determine, not to determine, but to try to confirm the Abraham Peace Accords and confirm the 7-year period by dividing the Temple Mount and dividing Jerusalem. These will be in play this September the 19th, 2023. So we could be beginning the 7-year period by September of 2023. So keep an eye on that. This is Brother Bill, pastor of Winds of Change Ministries in Ozark, Crazo, Alabama. God bless you and bye-bye. Please share this video.